The solvers have had a full day of sharing new ideas and making inspiring connections. So I want to thank the entire Solve community for your energy, dedication, and creative work to address the most important global challenges. In a moment, we'll be joined by a highly regarded and prominent innovator and leader, Mary Barra, Chairman and CEO of General Motors. In 1980, when I was starting my career at MIT, Mary began her career with GM as General Motors Institute co-op student. We both have had the privilege of working at a major organization and seeing it evolve over 4 decades. We also have seen the world become much more interconnected during those 4 decades. As you know, Solve is a global collaborative enterprise. But the current global emergency is making it difficult, is testing the commitment of nations and institutions to global cooperation. And that is why events like Solve at MIT are so important to demonstrate that while interconnectedness comes with risk, it also brings enormous opportunities. And GM is all about opportunities. It's playing a major role in creating opportunity for many in many ways, including through its long-term commitment to Solve. Last year, GM welcomed Solver teams to its campus in Detroit. And today, I'm delighted to welcome Mary to Solve at MIT. Mary, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you. It's really great to be a part of this. And General Motors, we continue to make progress every day and are learning many things through COVID. So we're doing fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. And we want to learn a little bit from what you're learning from COVID. So indeed, COVID-19 has brought to light the importance of experience and knowledge in science, technology, and manufacturing. And GM has plenty of that. And you decided to put all that to benefit the whole situation we're facing with COVID-19. Can you tell us a little bit more about what GM has been doing?
Well, as we all started to learn how COVID was impacting the world, starting first in China and then Korea, and then as it arrived in the United States, we saw that there were shortages of things like masks and personal protective equipment, as well as ventilators. And so, learning from what had happened in China, we started to look for opportunities how we could contribute. In our home state of Michigan, we saw that there were challenges. Of first responders and those in the medical profession on the front line having masks. And so we learned and started working with one of our Chinese joint ventures who had made masks, and they quickly shipped over their prints, and we had tools built, and in about a week we were starting to build to make our first mask. At the same time, we started to realize the shortage of ventilators, and we were connected with a company called Ventec. And a month after those first connections, we were building ventilators in a plant in Kokomo, Indiana. And it was really bringing the whole team together and working collaboratively with Ventec that we were able to do that. And I think it's rich in General Motors history that when our country needs our help, we're going to step in. You know, from both World War I and World War II, General Motors made significant contributions. And so we thought it was important. And one of the things that made me not surprised, because my team at General Motors does incredible things, but was inspiring to see how people volunteered and worked literally 24 hours a day to get the work done. So we did a small part like many other companies did, but I couldn't be more proud.
It was inspiring idea to move so much so quickly from a phone call to production in just a few weeks. It was truly remarkable. You must have learned quite a bit from this major transformation you have to do to benefit us to helping us all through COVID-19 to solve and address the issue you just described. Of the lessons you learned, what do you think might be helpful to share with other corporate leaders or other institutional leaders?
Well, I think when you engage your team and then set them free to do what they can do, they can accomplish amazing things. I mean, General Motors, we've been in the business of designing and engineering, validating and making things for over 100 years. And so taking all of those skill sets to partner with a ventilator company that was making 200 to 300 ventilators a month, and we wanted to get it to well over 10,000. Really leveraging those skill sets, and it was empowering the team to make decisions. One of the things I've been impressed with is how we're able to do things much more quickly in this environment. Things that in, I'll say, normal corporate time speed would take weeks and months seem to be getting done in days and weeks. And so I think asking ourselves the question, why aren't we moving at this pace all the time? And what can we do to support people so they can move that quickly? I think is an important lesson learned, and definitely something that will be challenging ourselves, and frankly already are in other parts of the business. We're saying, why can't we move at that same speed? And as we challenge people, they are.
Oh, excellent point. Um, we are all thinking about bringing jobs back, reopening cities, and so forth. And we're talking about reopening campuses like MIT. Uh, could you share with us very briefly what protocols you put in place at GM to bring workers back to work and to keep them safe?
Yeah, I think this is critically important, and for the globe, and specifically here in the United States, as we start to resume work and resume different activities. And there's really two components of it. One is truly making sure you're providing a safe environment, and that's with a questionnaire to make sure we have a kind of a three-pronged approach of, let's keep people who may be ill out of the workplace. Let's make sure the workplace provides an environment that protects the person in that environment. And then third, if somehow someone does come in that is affected with the virus, that we're able to quickly identify that, and then make sure the area is safe again for others to enter. So it's filling out a questionnaire, it's temperature screening, it's using masks, it's social distancing, it's stepped up cleaning. And so that's the formal protocol. And because we've been making masks and ventilators and keeping our facilities running that support our dealers, we have good data that it works, and that it is providing a safe environment, because safety is our overriding priority. The second thing, though, and I think it is very, very important as well, is communicating and make sure people understand. There's so much information out there. Some of it's not exactly factual. So making sure people understand what the protocol is and how it will keep them safe, and addressing their individual concerns. I think all of us have been impacted by COVID differently. Some of us may have lost a loved one. Some of us may have people who work on the front line. So I think it's also approaching it with a lot of patience and understanding, so we can address people's concerns, so they truly understand that they're in a safe environment. So I think it's a multi-pronged approach that you need to take to address just an unprecedented situation.
Well, thank you for explaining all that, Mary. This is unprecedented in all ways, but the way you handle that has been it's been a role model of how to do it right. Look, with COVID-19, all of us we have changed very quickly how we live and how we work. But one important issue that has to do with GM is that COVID-19 has had a huge impact on transportation. So how would you like to see corporations and institutions respond when restrictions are lifted and we can all get back to move around again?
Sure. Well, I think it's very important. General Motors, a couple years ago, we created a vision that we're working toward, and it's to create a world with zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. And we believe that with the technology that's available today and our resolve, that we can solve those issues. And so I think as we return, and as different parts of the world are returning, we recognize that it doesn't change the importance of creating that world where, from a missions perspective, we've seen how climate change has been impacted by major parts of the world shutting down. How do we leverage that to accelerate our journey to an all-electric future? How do we accelerate technology such as autonomous vehicles that we can reduce congestion? And then, of course, safety is critical as well. So we see this as an opportunity to work together and work in collaboration to accelerate our journey to a world with zero crashes, zero emissions, and zero congestion. And I also see it as an opportunity for our industry because I think people's perceptions are changing on mass transit. And so wanting to have your own vehicle or wanting to know, for instance, with our Origin vehicle that is part of our cruise team working on autonomous vehicles, how do we ensure that it's got the right level of cleanliness and being disinfected person to person? I think those are all things that we can work on, but it doesn't deter at all our vision and our drive to create and achieve this vision.
It sounds like a very nice marketing approach, Mary. Zero crashes, zero emissions, zero congestion. That's a terrific vision to accomplish. Uh, Look, GM has been working with Solve and with Solver teams since 2017, and you've been supporting us on advanced technology. And this year, you decided to support the learning for girls and women, as well as the good jobs and inclusive entrepreneurship challenges, which I would deeply appreciate. Could you tell us more about that commitment and GM support of what we may call social entrepreneurship?
Well, like Solve, GM is committed to supporting innovations that solve some of the world's most pressing challenges of our time. I just mentioned our vision, and we don't want to stop there. And so we're making investments focused on STEM education, on vehicle and road safety, and on community development. And I think it really aligns well with the learning for girls and women and the good jobs and inclusive entrepreneurship that are the challenges for Solve 2020. So those work quite well and align with our corporate mission. And we think it is so important from a STEM perspective that everybody understands science and technology are changing every single industry and changing the way we live and do our jobs. We're seeing that right now. And so how do we support that? And especially with a focus for girls and women, because we still don't have as many girls and young women entering into the STEM fields as I believe that we're going to need across the globe. So we have been so impressed with working with MIT and on the Solve program, and we're delighted to be continuing the partnership this year.
Well, thank you, Mary. Let me just tell you something that I'm sure you know, that half of our graduate are women. So please come to us when you want to recruit them. They are very, very, very good and very smart. Look, Mary, I just want to deeply thank you for joining us. You are a magnificent role model to many, and we thank you for not just for joining us as well, but for your support of Solve at MIT has been terrific for us, and we are deeply grateful. Thank you so very much.
Well, thank you, and thanks for the opportunity. MIT is a world-renowned educational institution, and we're just proud to be able to partner with you on these important initiatives. So thank you, and I wish everyone a good day and stay safe.
You too, stay safe. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Mary.
you.